All right, that helped? No, not at all. Oh well, we're just gonna roll with it. All right, guys. So today we're gonna talk about strength training and more specifically hypertrophy, which is muscle building for us taller, lankier, long-limbed, high metabolism people. All right, so we're gonna discuss a few things here. In the meantime, though, let me know what you guys are doing. Nick says, "Sweet, yes, definitely." Who here is above 6 foot? Anybody? Anybody above 6 foot? Anybody close to that? Welcome, Chewy Vice. All right, six figures above 6 foot. Gets a little bit difficult when we're above 6 feet, especially for things like squats and deadlifts and bench press. It's a long way to go for range of motion. Vitamin B shot just joined. Welcome. Guys, definitely throw up some hearts. If you're just joining the scope here, slide to the right, hit share on Twitter, and let's get this going. Help me out here. I'm just starting this Periscope journey, and I need as much help as I can. 5'8.5". I didn't see who that was. Looked like it was Nick, but it's close enough. That's tall. All right. So, got a few people here around the 6 foot range. Got a few people here at 5'8". Anybody else want to chime in as far as their height goes? Anybody here also have difficulty gaining weight? Obviously, if you're here, you probably do have difficulty, but let me know how long you've been struggling for this, because I want to give you some, solid tips that you can leave this Periscope with. Yes, definitely. Thanks for sharing, guys. I appreciate it. Heart it up too, please, as much as you can. Working on getting this information out. All right, you guys are here. You guys are on time. Let's get it going. So, building muscle, no matter if you are an ectomorph, mesomorph, or I'm forgetting the other one here, drawing a blank here. I'm going to say ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Whew, geez. Doesn't matter what you are. And if you guys don't know what those body types are, basically an ectomorph is a tall, lanky person, which you probably know because you're here. Endomorph is more of the round shape, and a mesomorph is more like a superhero, okay? So this doesn't really matter what body type you are. It's just going to take time and consistency, okay? Time and consistency. If I'm watching this, I'm hearting that up right now because it's time and consistency. I can't stress that enough. Now, technically, you could pretty much leave this Periscope right now, but I'm going to give you some other tips. So don't leave just yet. All right. So we got time and consistency. It's the key. And I just want to make sure I'm got some things on. Okay, good, perfect. All right, so time and consistency is the key to, doesn't matter what body type you are, okay? So we're talking today, we're really looking to hit home for longer limbed, skinnier people, high metabolism. And the first thing is, making sure you have realistic goals. So when I first started training, I was like, yeah, I want to become a superhero. I want to look like, Wolverine, or, I was big into G.I. Joe at the time. And hard up if you're big into G.I. Joe, because I got a bunch of G.I. Joe guys up there, which I'll bring into Periscopes in future. But I wanted to have, the big broad shoulders, the tiny waist, the huge sweeping quads, big calves, big biceps. And, thinking that I could do that real quickly, just going to lift some weights and it was just going to happen like that. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And really, you really got to have realistic goals so you don't get discouraged too quickly. Realistically, if you can gain 10 pounds of lean mass or muscle throughout the course of a year, you are doing wonderful. You are crushing it, okay? You could potentially gain up to 20, 25, but everything has to be perfect. Nutrition, training, you got to be restoring, which I mean by like sleep, which we talked about in podcast or Periscope yesterday and a Periscope on Monday. Other things like mindset, that is key as well. Going in there and making sure you are focused 100% on the task at hand. Okay, so let's talk some more about that. 10 pounds, 15 pounds max, that's probably a good number for you per year. Now let's talk about nutrition here real quick, because nutrition is going to obviously fuel your workouts. Sleep is going to fuel your workouts. You break down muscle fibers in the gym, and that's great, and you want to train intensely in the gym, but you want to make sure you're eating enough calories. Now, if you caught my scope yesterday, I talked about protein. It's extremely important, but it may not be the most important thing, okay? And I'll give you a few reasons why. But the first things first, you got to have calories. So for lanky people like us, and you're working out hard in the gym, this is just a real generic body weight equation. You're going to take your body weight and times that by 16, and that's going to be your total calories. For some of you, that's going to be a big change, okay? And a lot of you tell me consistently, like, you know what, Nate, I'm eating as much as I possibly can, but I'm just not gaining weight. Eat more, okay? I'm sorry, but that's just what's going to have to happen. So, who here who's tried to eat and is just absolutely stuffed and can't eat another morsel of food? Anybody experience that? Let me know. Give me a hell yes if you experienced that, because I know I have. I don't have a big appetite, and it's really difficult for me to get meals in. And funny enough, like, gaining muscle is just as hard as dropping good body fat. Like, I can gain fat, no problem. We all can gain fat. But gaining muscle is key. Gaining lean body weight is key. So, you know, it's really just as difficult to gain good mass as it is to lose body fat, as opposed to just losing body weight. Because potentially, if you lose body weight, you could be losing muscle. Yeah, I'm eating super clean, says Nick. Yeah, no doubt. What would you recommend for someone who lacks protein and doesn't eat meat? Beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds. That's a great question. I was vegan for about 5 years. Now, I did lose a little bit of mass. I want to be upfront with you guys. I'm not here trying to BS you here. I did lose a little bit of mass, but I have plenty of vegan clients all around the world who are crushing it strength-wise and physique-wise. Could they be bigger if they ate meat? Yeah, probably, but that's not a big deal. Nate, you're plant-based, right? I used to be. I was plant-based for about 5 years, and I had to kind of switch that a little bit just because I had some health issues. Now, just because I had health issues doesn't mean you're going to have those issues on a plant-based diet. So for some people, plant-based diet works wonderful, but for some others, it doesn't. So don't listen to the hogwash out there, but you have to be this certain way. You have to eat this certain way. You got to do what's right for you. Okay, so any other question before I move on there? That was a great question there about the plant-based diet. So yeah, beans, legumes, lentils, these are solid protein needs there, protein options. That's how I found you. Yeah, no doubt. I still get people from like the veganbodybuilding.com crowd, and that's great because I still take care of, I think probably like 60% of my people are vegetarian or vegan. Doing it since 5, yeah, I listen to you. Awesome. Yeah, you got to listen to your body, guys. Honestly, I was doing things for the wrong reasons. I was trying to follow a tribe when I should have been listening to my body, and my body was like, hey man, you need to have eggs once in a while just to get my zinc up. Zinc for guys, zinc for the dink. I was waking up and not having any kind of libido whatsoever. So once I started adding eggs, that was a key there. So there's a tip for you. Yeah, Robert Cheek's site, definitely. That's basically, I should probably give that guy a percentage because a lot of people come to me from that site. So, all right, let's keep going here. So we're talking about body weight times 16 is your calories. And then if you want to do like a gram of protein per body weight, that is enough. You don't want to have too much protein because if you have too much protein, we talked about this yesterday in fat loss. And we talked about how protein has a higher thermic effect of food. So if you're eating too much protein, you're actually burning more calories. If you're trying to, put on mass, especially as a tall, lanky, high metabolism kind of person, you want to avoid that as much as you can. So 1 gram per pound of protein per body weight is suffice. The rest should be carbohydrates and fat. Now, for us taller people, we can get away with a little more carbohydrates on average, not everybody, but on average, we can get away with a little more carbohydrates than somebody on a fat loss diet, okay? Just FYI. Okay, we're going to start. Nutrition's pretty much out of the way. I want to move on to strength training real quick. I want to keep this to about 10 to 15 minutes here. Anybody else have any real quick nutrition questions? And I'll move on. Guys, heart it up if you're enjoying this Periscope. If you haven't already shared it, swipe to the right, share it with your friends. I think Android, you have to swipe up. I'm not quite 100% sure on that. But any other nutrition questions? I think we're moving on. All right, cool. Strength training. All right, let's get into the business here. So with strength training, there's a lot of books and a lot of research has been shown that, doing the real compound exercises are going to elicit the most muscle growth. And again, that's not just for ectomorphs, that's for everybody. Body weight times 16, you are correct. That's for weight gain. If you are on a fat loss diet, which you probably shouldn't be on this Periscope, it's going to be body weight times 12. And if you're a moderate, body weight times 14. Cool. So yeah, obviously compound exercises, your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, your pull-ups and dips. These are all muscle, or also movements that incorporate a lot of different muscle groups. So these are your core, and that should pretty much be the gist of your program. And then you can add like accessory exercises to that, like dumbbell flies on chest day or cable flies. You can do lateral raises, things like that. Now I'm talking just specifically bodybuilding here. If you guys have other aspirations like powerlifting, we can get into that in a different scope. But today we're going to talk more bodybuilding. Okay, so with that in mind, you want to try and get as many core and compound movements as you possibly can. And then as far as rep ranges go, it doesn't really matter. Like I like to do an undulating type program, and what that means is you're doing heavy lifts, and then you're also doing some lighter, lifts with lighter weights and more repetitions. So you're kind of varying things up a little bit. This is going to help you stay injury free. It's going to allow your joints to love you because they're not going to be achy and sore when you wake up in the morning. At least not as much as they would be if you just trashed them with a hypertrophy or you trashed them with a powerlifting program that has a lot of weight and very low reps. So what I want you to do is you can set your program up in two ways. There's a few other ways, but two big ones here is you can lift heavy on the, say Monday and Tuesday of your week, and then lift a little bit lighter, same muscle groups, but lift lighter on Thursday and Friday. So let's just say you deadlift and you do chin-ups on Monday, and that's a heavy back day. Say on Thursday you go back to back day and you do bent over rows, cable rows, and things like that, a little bit lighter weight. And instead of doing like 5 reps, you're doing 15 to 20 reps. So you're kind of mix mashing, you're getting all the different muscle fibers. That's a real great way. So you're not always lifting heavy and your joints are aching, and you're not always lifting in the 15 range, because honestly that can be boring. Okay. The other way to do it is basically switching up day to day. So you can lift heavy as your first exercise. So let's go back to our back day. If we did deadlifts as our first exercise, and then we say we did bent over rows as our second exercise, you'd obviously go heavy for your deadlifts, and then maybe go 12 to 15 reps for your bent over row. And then say you're doing a cable row after that or something, you can go up to 20 and 25 reps, which would obviously be a even lighter weight. Yeah, so boring. I agree, man. I had a time probably about a year and a half ago where I had just had enough of bodybuilding for actually a year and a half ago I stopped, but about 3 years ago I had enough of it, and I couldn't do bicep curls forever, and I didn't, and it showed. But I went on to learn new things, which is great. Olympic lifting, more gymnastic movements, and that was phenomenal. So guys, I'm loving the hearts. Keep hitting that heart button. If you haven't shared it already, please do me a favor, because I'm working on this scope to get my information and everybody else's information out there. All right, so that's pretty much the gist of it. The key here to training for taller people is volume, okay? And again, it's kind of the same for everybody, but especially for us, is volume. So don't worry about so much how much weight you're lifting all the time. It's about how many sets and how many reps and what their frequency is. And what I mean by frequency, yeah, heavy lifting and calisthenics, yeah, no doubt, guys. I said bodybuilding, but I hope you guys aren't limited to that. If you guys can do some calisthenics and some gymnastic work, it's only going to help you in other areas. There's a great quote or saying by, I think it's Ido Portal, and he says, you take a gymnast and you put him in, or her, in a sport, whether it's basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever it is, and physically and athletically, they're going to be just fine in that sport. They may need to learn how to shoot a basketball properly, they may know how to swing a baseball bat, whatever it may be, but physically they're going to be solid. You take that same, baseball player, hockey player, football player, whatever, and throw them on a set of rings, and they are toast. Okay, I'm that perfect example. I thought I was strong, and then I trained with him and a bunch of other people who do more body weight stuff, and I was like shocked. I couldn't do anything. I was embarrassed. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Guys, any other questions for me? I'm going to stick around here for about a minute left, or 2 minutes here. Any questions for me? It could be anything: nutrition, strength training. We didn't get into much sleep or mindset, but these are key points. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, head over to nathanjackson.com and sign up for my 3 video series to amplify your life. And I go over all 4 pillars of my program, which is nutrition, strength training, restoration, and mindset. So check that out if you haven't already. And you're just catching in the end of it here. You have to check out the replay. I hope you're interested in that. But guys, any real quick questions before I leave? Yeah, I'm going to try and scope just about every day here. Thursdays I like to play golf, so I may not be able to scope at 2:30, but I'm going to definitely try and get something in, whether it's before or after. If there's some way to, film the scope and then post it later, I don't know if that makes sense. That probably doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that'd be great. But I'm going to try and do it every day.